right, folks, welcome to the show. My name is Rachel Wilkins. Delighted to be here this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whatever time of day it is for you, wherever you're listening. Today, I have a great guest joining me. I have JR joining me. JR is a visual artist, a designer, and an educator, and he's joining me from New York City. So we're practically neighbors, JR. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Really excited, not gonna lie. I'm down to spread some positivity, gain some knowledge from you as well, and just kind of spread the word.
It's awesome. And JR very kindly jumped in kind of right at the last minute on this session. I had reached out. We're going to be talking about a topic that is really just dominating not just the art news right now, but dominating world news, which is NFTs. I know there's a lot of questions, a lot of folks that are just looking at this and thinking, oh my gosh, where do I even begin? And what I loved about looking at your work is you are somebody who was, just really taken this and ran with it right out the gate. So I do want to kind of, we're going to talk a lot about NFTs, but I want to go a little further back, if I may, and talk about your life before NFTs. So tell me a little bit. So you said primarily, first and foremost, you're an educator. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in New York, home and raised, and I've been traveling a lot since then, but New York has always been a home. I went to college at Hofstra University, which is on Long Island. I got my bachelor's in art education and kind of haven't looked back since. I took about a 2-year stint right after college where I was actually a full-time artist. I was living in Philadelphia. I gave that a go. And then I just needed more consistency in my life, and I became a teacher, and it's been absolutely amazing. I actually moved out to Denver, Colorado. Within 2 weeks, I had 2 offers for positions, which is really cool. And I currently work at Strive Prep Sunnyside, the most amazing middle school in the world. And sorry if you don't agree with me, but it's true. And shout out Hornets. And since then, I've kind of just, I did my own little side gig where I had a Etsy account where I was selling my art on Etsy, and I got that completely fully automated. I wrote an ebook about it. And just my entire life has just been coaching, teaching, and art. And it's just, I've been blessed especially the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, because of the world of NFTs. And it is the future. It is here. It is here to stay. And I think a lot of the biggest names in the world are kind of proving that. Likes of Elon Musk, Blau, Banksy's, Burnt Banksy's. There's just a lot surrounding NFTs, and it is 110% now the time to get in.
I think it's just such an exciting moment for all of us, but I think it also comes with that fear, right? It's just something that's totally new. And I know for me, I kind of dipped my finger in it a little bit. I poked around. I have a little bit of crypto, so I set up and I did, went through the process. And I consider myself a little bit tech savvy, not very tech savvy, and I was lost, right? So I'm, for a lot of artists that are probably listening to this, that the whole setup and the process that's involved in this is a little terrifying. Would you say, based on where you're at, and we're going to talk about your sales and everything in a little bit, but based on the results that you've had, do you feel it's worth every artist who's listening to this giving this
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, 1,000,000%. So I'm the same with you. I feel fairly tech savvy. I didn't even have a wallet set up yet. So like a Coinbase MetaMask wallet, I had nothing set up. And to be honest, I put it off for like a week and a half. I had two of my art friends who were in the space were like, you got to get your work up there. You're going to crush it. And anytime I heard about it, I literally it was like nervous. I got like a overwhelming feeling of just like, there's so much to do and there's so much to look at that I literally avoided it. And I was like, oh, next week. And then I was on Clubhouse and I just saw all these NFT groups just like popping up everywhere. And I'm like, all right, let me just listen in. I'm not going to jump on stage. I want to listen in, see what they're talking about. And it was just like, I could not, and I kid you not, to this day, I jumped on about 2 weeks ago in an NFT room. I spend about 8 hours a day in Clubhouse rooms and I'm up till 3, 4 in the morning, sometimes even later, just listening, getting all the information I can, because it's just been an absolute blessing. And I can go into, again, I know it's scary, but Clubhouse has been a game changer, because the community, especially in the NFT worlds on Clubhouse, is so insanely supportive. I had a gentleman by the name of Reed, an artist, never met him before in my life, and he helped me. He took me offline at Clubhouse, spent 45 minutes with me offline to set up my wallet and to set up a piece,
What?
and to yeah, just insane. And to show my appreciation, I sent him one of my Genesis pieces, which is like the first piece that you end up making, and he ended up reselling it for $1,200 2 days later.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, man, I'm like, I just gave you $1,200. He's like, thanks. If you have any other questions, let me know. And I was like, absolutely, sounds good.
That
So,
is amazing.
mm,
Wow. Wow. My mind is so blown by all the, like, how quickly people are accumulating revenue from this, because I feel like it's just totally, well, let me kind of circle back a little bit. I think the last year has totally blown up the art world as we know it anyway, because obviously we've lost so many of those galleries. I think a lot of those so-called gatekeepers who make all the, the decisions have had so much control, and now they really just don't, right? We're becoming more empowered as individual artists. We have the power at our fingertips to put ourselves in front of those collectors without the need for these kind of middlemen. And to see the speed at which people are having results, it's not like just listing your work on like a Saatchi or an online selling platform. This is happening really, really quickly. So take us through like a timeline from, so you put your first piece on, you have this Read help you out and give you a kind of a little leg up. Talk us through the timeline to making that first sale.
all right. So I like to think I'm a bit of a marketing whiz kind of. I find little ins and outs where I can kind of exploit the system in a way. And so in a span of 2.5 days, I made over $10,000. And
What?
yeah, and it was all because of just one move I made. So if you heard what happened with Banksy, the burnt Banksy piece on Long Island, where an artist, I mean, a 20, I think he's like 23, 24. He's actually really awesome now. We're in close contact, which is really cool. He had an original Banksy, and it was around, I think, $125,000, and he ended up burnt it on camera, and turned the burning and the piece of the Banksy into an NFT. So he said, I'm going to burn the original, I'm going to turn it into a digital copy, an NFT, and then I'm going to sell it. And it went on sale, and it sold for about $400,000. So the NFT, the digital version, sold for like 4 times more almost than the actual physical copy. And so what I was watching this auction live. I was in a Clubhouse room actually, and I was on my computer, and these two bidders kept going back and forth. And I was like, it's crazy. I'm like, all the eyes of the art world are going to be on who just bought this Banksy piece. So what I did was, in the NFT world, you can actually send people artwork for free. So a lot of them have their wallets up. You can take it down, but a lot of people have their wallets shown, so you can just send people artwork, and you can't do anything about it. So what I did was, literally as soon as the auction ended, I sold 2 of my works of art to his wallet. To his name's Galaxy on OpenSea.
When you say sold, you mean for free? You sent them for free? Okay.
So it cost me about $80 in gas fees. So like just fees to send it over. And so it was a small risk in my eyes to take. And as soon as I sent it, in a span of, I think it had to be 3-4 minutes, I had a ton of buyers on my work, because what they were thinking is this gentleman, and it was Banksy's work in the middle, and I sent him 2 pieces, my work here and my work there. And it was that for like 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So everyone thought, like subconsciously, like if this Banksy buyer is spending $400,000 on this piece, why is he collecting this person's pieces? And so then I sold out of my Genesis piece within like 5-6 hours. I have a piece of like an edition of 50. I've sold like 48 of those or 46 of those, and just like it's just been exploding. And the journey, I'm like, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but the last like I've been in talks with Gronkowski on the Patriots. I've been talking to MC. I've been talking to MC Hammer, Drake Bell, Blau just bought one of my pieces. Jake Paul just bought one of my pieces. Uh, it's just been like an insane ride, and I am riding it and as hard and as long as I can. Like again, I haven't slept in 2 weeks, and it's
I
tough
don't
because
blame you.
you can't, and it's just like it's absolutely crazy. But like when things like this happen, you can't take a break. And so I'm teaching full time, and as soon as I'm done teaching, it's all right, let's hop into these clubhouse rooms, let's talk to the community, let's get the word out, let's support others. And it's just been, I'm just blessed, just like beyond blessed to just everything that's been happening in the last 2 weeks.
Wow. So, and this is a personal question, so don't feel like you have to answer this. What are you at right now in terms of profit?
Yeah, I definitely, I usually don't, my dad always says don't talk money, but
Yeah.
I am
Give us an approximate, a ballpark.
a ballpark. I'm definitely, I'll say over 20,000 in 2 weeks. And but that also just puts it into perspective, because as a teachers, we don't get paid enough. I'll just say that right off the bat. We all teachers around the world do not get valued enough for the work we do. So I stand strongly behind that. And in 2 weeks, I've made half my annual salary. So it's just
Holy
like,
moly.
so life is upside down.
I'm so blown away by your story, because this is like the dream, right? This is, exactly like you said, teachers are absolutely not compensated enough, especially given the year that you guys have just had, having to adjust and deal with, kids who are adjusting to this new normal. It's so unprecedented, and there's so much uncertainty, and, you're out there as pretty much a frontline worker. Let's be realistic. You're doing God's work out there. And then to just have this, like, I mean, I don't want to say it's like you're having a moment, right? This is what's happening. You're having like a really amazing moment. But I think it's really important what you said, that you didn't, this didn't just happen to you. You didn't just put your work up and ta-da, everything fell into place, right? And this is something that I'm always conscious of when I'm coaching people or teaching classes, is you have to show up, right? We have to participate in our own success. Like, there is maybe 1% of the 1% who get the gallery knocking on the door, right? Or get the opportunity falling in their lap. And generally it's because they know somebody. It's nothing to do with like talent, right? It's, their dad knows this person or that person. So to be really clear with, our listeners, this is something that you were very proactive with.
100%. So my number one thing, advice that I could give to anyone out here is join, and I don't work for them or anything, but they've changed my life, is join Clubhouse. It's only available for iPhone right now. So how it all kind of started on Clubhouse is, for those that may not know the app, it's just basically like a live podcast almost, where we have speakers on a stage per se, and you can listen in the audience. You can raise your hand, which means they allow you to go on stage, and you can talk to the speakers that are on stage. And I just saw all these big names. Like, again, Drake Bell was the first like celebrity that I was able to talk to, who was, again, he's just a huge influence in the space, and I can't sing his praises enough. And what I did was I actually did a work of art of him. After I saw it, I sent it to him on Instagram, and I was like, hey, I did this work of art of you. Just want to show you, just want to say thank you for everything you did. He just liked it. But what that did was, next time he was on stage, he invited me on stage and he allowed me on stage. And what that does is that, so if I was just in a room with like Whale Shark, Farouk, and there was over 1,000 people in this room, and there's like 20 people on stage. So then all the eyes are on those 20 people. And that's what gets you views. And in the last week and a half, like I just started Twitter, I've gained over 1,000 followers on Twitter in over a week and a half. And it's because of going on those stages, raising your hand, even if you don't know much about the topic. You want to make sure that your image, your profile, whatever it may be, is in the spotlight amongst these people, because it does mean a lot. Because if you're again, standing next to some of these high profile figures, like I was talking again, I gotta stop name dropping, but like Paris Hilton, she started following me, she was asking me questions, and just like you talk to these people and then others see the value in you as well. That being said, if you don't create good art, it doesn't matter who you talk to, no one's going to buy your work. I was talking to Blau yesterday, and he made a great point because, again, the give back in the community. Blau, Farouk, who is a phenomenal, he's just an amazing person in the space, just giving back to the community. He set up a room where they were giving away $100,000, not giving away, they were supporting artists using $100,000 of their own money in this room. And what Blau said is, so someone listed a work for like $11,000 and brand new artist, and Blau was like, listen, you want to definitely value your work to what you believe it is, but like I buy art that I like, that I enjoy, that I feel and I'm moved by. And he's like, I just want you to know, don't take it personally. The reason I'm not buying art is because it's not for me personally. So I think if you do create art, make sure it creates some kind of has some kind of spice behind it and really can speak to an audience. Because again, you do need to have the good art as well as the connections too.
And I think that's a key point. One of the questions I mentioned to my, some of my community that I was going to be chatting with you. And one of the questions that comes up is, how do I translate everything I've been doing over here in the real world to bring it into this space? Because it is a very different space. Let's be honest. Like for somebody who has been painting, landscapes or classical work, this might not be the arena, but it could.
It definitely can. So there is an artist named Sabet who has kind of taken me under his wing, and he's been mainly focusing on painting his whole life. He's absolutely phenomenal. Another artist named Dario, who's a famous Swiss artist, Gabe Weiss, who's like a modern day Picasso. They are traditional painters. And what they've done in a lot of their works too is found digital artists via Clubhouse again to collaborate with. So to turn their paintings into like live motion artworks, which has been amazing. But there's also photographers now are starting to get into the game. There's this amazing street photographer named Uvelli, who has been he's just a blessing. Again, he's selling photographs in this. So your artwork doesn't have to be digital. It doesn't have to like move or anything. You can sell photographs on there. It's just about if your artwork speaks to people, then it'll definitely sell. And I think, again, an artist like Uvalli, who's a photographer, he's selling his work on there, and Gabe Weiss, who's selling straight paintings sometimes. And like it definitely does. It definitely can work. It's a transition, but I would recommend collaborating, and it's a great way to build your community and the people around you.
That's amazing. One of the things that I thought of when you were talking about the Banksy, though, is where is this going to go, like copyright wise? Like, are the Banksy team going to be like, wait a minute, this is our work? And because I know when you buy a piece of art, right, one of the things that you do not own is the intellectual property rights to it. You don't own the rights to reproduce it. So how is that gonna, I mean, I know you're not an attorney, but like, have you, it being in and out of these Clubhouse rooms, is that a topic that's come up?
Yeah, so it's actually come up quite a few times. The reason why is because in other countries, it's actually against the law to burn. It's artist protection. So yeah, I don't know the exact term, but it's against the law to actually burn the artworks. And with this Banksy piece, I don't know the exact legalities behind it, but I think, to be honest, I'm sure Banksy heard of it, which is crazy. Banksy released a piece on the side of a jail, and on Twitter, what was trending wasn't on the same day, wasn't Banksy releasing that piece. It was Burnt Banksy, who was above him. And I think Banksy would actually appreciate it because he pulls these kind of stunts all the time. So like even at his last art gallery, art showing at, was it Christie's, where he shredded his balloon girl. I actually have the tattoo of the balloon girl, huge fan of Banksy. So I think he'd actually really appreciate this, and I wouldn't doubt it if we see Banksy in the NFT world anytime soon.
Yeah, I think so. He's so anti-establishment that I think so too. You know, I grew up in Liverpool, and right when I was like just in kind of, I think I was like 16, 17, he did this huge mural of a rat. It was kind of right around the time of Lorette. And he did this huge mural on this old rundown pub in Liverpool. And everyone just kind of thought nothing of it. Now it's like, you know, look at the career that he's had over the years. It's just, we didn't know what was sitting at the end of our street. It's amazing.
So true. You'll never walk alone, by the way.
That's right.
If you're a
I'm
football
a
fan.
huge Liverpool fan. I've been going to games since I was a little girl.
So jealous. I've never been.
You have to go. Actually, I took my wife for the first time a couple of years ago when we went over there, and she cried when they sang "You'll Never Walk Alone." It's so powerful.
It really is, though.
Cool. Yeah. So awesome. So I then want to talk a little bit about the platforms that are out there, because obviously there's a gazillion different platforms, and I think there's more and more coming up and cropping up. I think it's hard for artists to know, well, first of all, where do I even start with the technology side of things? So let's just talk about the nuts and bolts. So first of all, you have to have a wallet, right?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit for anybody who has no idea what that is?
Of course. Yeah. So a lot of the artwork is actually bought with cryptocurrency. So Ethereum is the number one cryptocurrency right now that's been using to purchase art. What I do, if you were like, how do I buy Ethereum? So you can literally do it from your phone. So I go through apps. What I used first is, and I'll just run you through what I do. You can use Cash App to buy Bitcoin. And then when you buy Bitcoin, you move it over to Coinbase, which is another wallet. And then when you're in Coinbase, you can transfer. It's crazy. I'll explain a way to kind of go over this. Coinbase, you can change your Bitcoin to Ethereum. And then when you have Ethereum, you can put it into your MetaMask wallet. Now, this is a lot going on. What I would suggest is OpenSea, the website, has something called the NFT Bible. You can Google it, just Google NFT Bible, and it kind of tells you literally everything from head to toe about NFTs. That's kind of my go-to that I've been sending everyone in my like Instagram and Twitter messages that have been like asking questions like, where do I get started? What do I do? My biggest recommendation on that end would be check out the NFT Bible. It kind of tells you, again, just everything you need to know. But yeah, so once you have this cryptocurrency, you can connect your MetaMask wallet to any one of these platforms and websites, and you can start buying art, selling art, and all that good stuff.
That's amazing. Yeah, I actually kind of went around the houses with this, because I had Coinbase which is where the crypto lives. Then I got Coinbase wallet, so I had to transfer to there, and then I was using. In fact, let me pull up my phone because there's so many. It's so confusing. Then I had something called Zerion, and then a trust account, a trust wallet. So at one point I was like, this is too many moving parts. But like you said, once you kind of get those things in place, it's pretty, well, it's not simple, but there is a method to, you know, kind of
the madness.
Yes, exactly. So you're using OpenSea, right? That's the platform that you're selling on. Were you just directed to use that? Was that something that was suggested in the community? Is that the big fish?
Yeah. So the thing I love about OpenSea is that you only pay a one-time fee up front for a collection. So when you make a collection of art, you can put as many works of art that you want inside of this piece and not have to pay gas fees again. So the biggest thing that people complain about is, let's say you go on a website like Foundation. I actually just got an invite there, which is pretty cool. It's invite only Foundation platform, but then anytime you make a work, it's going to cost like $60 to $70. Anytime you want to post that work to sell it, it's going to cost another $60 to $70. And then if you do sell it, Foundation then takes 15%. Wow. So it's like there's so many fees, and you have to sell your work for a lot. But now with sites like Foundation, it's more curated. There's more eyes on it, so you're more likely to have your prices rise. So each website kind of has its give and take. But again, the reason why I chose OpenSea is because you pay that one-time fee. So I've listed, I think now about 100 pieces. Wow. And I've only had to pay that one-time fee of, it was like $80. And what it does is it makes the buyer, so whoever buys the piece, they end up having to pay the extra what might be $30 of a gas fee on top of their fee.
Wow.
The only slight drawback to that is sometimes, like, I've released an appreciation artwork just to say thank you to my buyers and like collectors for literally changing my life. And so I listed it was like $45 first, and I listed like 20 of them at $45. The gas fees were like 55. So the gas fees alone cost more than the artwork. So that's where it gets a little for the buyers. But anyone that's selling, I 110% recommend OpenSea because you can do it today. You don't have to send an invite, and you get started, and you pay that one-time fee, and you're good to go.
So, yeah, because that was a question that kept coming up was the gas fee, like, why do I have to pay $80 every time I mint a piece? Like, this is insane. And there's no guarantee of sales. But what you're suggesting is that if you create an entire collection, can you then add to that collection periodically, or is it static?
Yeah, absolutely. So I literally just added a piece yesterday to it, and you can, again, as much as you want. The only thing I would suggest too is if your work is all over the place, like you have completely different styles, and one day you're doing a portrait, the next day you're doing a landscape, and the next day you have a video of a car racing. Like, you don't want to put all of those. Bless you.
Sorry,
You're fine. You don't want to put all of those in the same collection, because then when someone clicks on it, it just looks like you didn't curate it carefully enough. It looks like just a jumble. People get lost and they're gonna fall off the page. You want to you might have to make another collection where you kind of split it up, but again, that's only $80, or like 60 to 80 depending on gas prices. But yeah, that's, again, OpenSea is for me, I think, the number one place to go for now, and most artists are going, because it's quick, easy, and you're up and running the day of.
Now, do you feel that, and I know this happens with the likes of Instagram, whenever they bring like a new feature out, they always reward the early adopters. So they reward the people that are embracing the technology. Do you feel that you've got a little bit of a leg up because you're one of these new people that's very active and is already selling? Do you see any favoritism there, or is that a little bit more democratic?
I think everyone, we're all in this together, especially because this is just the beginning. And I think it's still going to be just the beginning for a few more months, because there are so many people out there that still have no idea about NFTs. So I posted about it like twice, because I was like, I can't believe I'm sharing. I was like, I can't believe I'm sharing the stage right now with like this person, and we're talking about NFTs. And my Facebook was like, what are NFTs? Who are you talking? How are you talking to them? What's going on? So I feel like the average Joe doesn't really even know too much about NFTs. They might hear about it because they might, oh, I just heard this person sold $69 million. This Beeple guy, who's that? Like, or Elon Musk just tweeted about it. So I think it's slowly becoming mainstream, but it is definitely still super, super early. So I don't think anyone really has a leg up. I just think I've literally went head first and just kind of immersed myself in the NFT community and culture, and again, spending 8-10 hours a day. And my biggest thing too is, so after all this happens and people see you on stage, they send you messages, and it's tough to keep up with sometimes, but I spend an hour every morning and an hour every night responding to every single person. And what that does is, one, making connections, because you have no idea who's sending you a message. Two, it could be potential collectors that want to get to know you more. Three, you want to give back. So I've been extremely, extremely blessed with this opportunity, and I'm just like so beyond grateful and humble. I can't say it enough. Like, my life has changed overnight. So what I've been doing is just giving back as much as I can, and that could be, I've been buying a ton of artwork of just random people's artwork just to support them. My friend Dre, he's an amazing artist, or she is, sorry. She's an amazing artist, and I'm doing like a drop party with her just to help her support her work. And something as simple as, so I had a really good night one night selling my artwork, and I posted a tweet, and I've been doing it a few nights now, like, drop your links below. I want to support you. I want to buy your artwork. Let me know. Drop it in. And I had a father out of Scotland, and he said, hey, would you mind taking a look at my daughter's artwork? I would love for you to buy it. That'd be so cool. And I took a look at it, and this is, I think, one of the proudest moments of my life. immediately, it was a picture of a giraffe. She's 6 years old, just getting started. Absolutely adorable picture, and I purchased it. And he's like, "Oh my God, no way!" It's like, "Give me a moment, give me a second." I'm like, "All right." He took a video of his daughter, telling his daughter that that her artwork was purchased, and it's on my Instagram, it's on my Twitter. It's like it went like mini viral on Twitter, but like it was the most humble, most adorable video ever because she was like, he's like, "Guess what? Your artwork sold," and she was like, "Oh,
Oh,
thank you," and like she was like just so just amused that her artwork sold. And so I spread that story to the Clubhouse community, and my good friend Dario, again, it just goes to show like how amazing the community is. He's like, "Hey, I just bought her dinosaur," and I was like, "No way!" And
what?
then yeah, it exploded from there. And then I went to a room again with Farouk, who's just this amazing just giver in the space. He's the bridge between everything. And uh, I told him about it, and he told to everyone else. And then she sold like 5, 6 pieces now, and she's 6 years old. And her father was just telling me like she can't stop creating now, and all she wants to do is make NFTs. And it's just like it's stories like that that like my little act of just purchasing her work of art uh, it could honestly down the road could make her one of the greatest artists of all time. And her dad is super supportive. I literally talk to her dad every single day now. I blast his daughter's work every day. And it's the community has just been immense, like absolutely amazing from just everyone. And yeah, I'm in love with it, and I'm addicted to it, and it's just I love it.
What an amazing story. That is so beautiful. I mean, that's clearly you have such a good heart and a good soul, and you have that connection to children from your life as a teacher. But to pay it forward and to not just kind of revel in your own success, but to take that step, recognize that somebody's kind of given you an arm up, and then continue to pay that forward is a really amazing, incredible thing. So, thank you for doing that, and thank you for sharing that story. That's really wonderful.
Of
Wonderful.
course.
And I hope that we see more of that. I hope that this is a space, because I think when you think of tech and you think of crypto, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear around, this new technology that people are being invited to embrace. There's a lot of resistance. And I think that sometimes, when you talk about anything that involves money or finance, it can be very cutthroat. The art world traditionally has been a little bit unethical, I think is fair to
Fair.
say. So to see these, to hear these stories, to hear that there are some positive relationships forming, and that there are people out there willing to, to help the next person is really, really exciting to me. So amazing, amazing, amazing. So I want to go back to just a little bit of something on the tech side. So when you talked about, putting up the collection, you shared a little bit about doing a drop for somebody. So you get your work up on OpenSea, you have your collection, you pay your gas money. How is it like, for example, like if you were doing a launch on on a social media platform, do you have to create hype around that launch in order to get people to it?
Absolutely. 110%. So I actually have an artist who's Olmo Rios, who's this great photographer, great friend. He was just talking to me about it too. He's like, I want to get my artwork out there, and like, you don't want to just throw your work out there and hope it sticks, because I'm telling you right now, it's not. There is a flood of not just artists, amazing artists out there right now creating just beautiful, beautiful work. So what you do is again you build that community of fellow artists, creators, and just anyone willing to support you, and you have them blast it any way you can. So what I say is, if you can't support the artist by purchasing their work, it's free to retweet someone. It's free to say, hey, check out my friend. It costs no money to be like, hey, this is my friend, like post it on your Instagram story. So every single day, I feature 5 artists on my Instagram story of just random people that I have no idea who they are. And I just say, yo, check out this artist. He's up and coming. He's awesome. Check out this artist. And one, again, that builds community. But two, next time I need a drop, I need something that I need promoted, I know that I can count on them. And I don't even have to ask. I can count on them to kind of retweet it, repost it. And um, you want to do the best you can to kind of make it viral. And what we have been doing is having these drop parties per se in Clubhouse, because we obviously can't all meet in person. But we have like a panel of like anywhere between 5 to 10 people on stage. There's usually anywhere between 100 to 500 people in the audience, and we just put these artists on highlight and their work on highlight, and just kind of talk about the artist and creator, and really try to get them sales and get their work seen. And again, if they don't get their artwork sold then, they might get it sold down the line. And I can't stress enough the importance of community and just talking to every single person that reaches out to you, even if they have a basic question to the most advanced question that you might not know. I've had questions people ask, and I'm like, to be honest, I couldn't give you the answer to that, but I'm going to put you in contact with someone who does. And then I send them along to someone else, and obviously with their permission, like, hey, do you mind if so-and-so wants to talk to you about this cryptocurrency now that they want to exchange this? I'm like, I have no idea. This is your field. And, but yeah, I've had my own mentors on the stage too. There's a gentleman, art collector named Michael. I'm not going to give out his last name, but he's been just an absolute blessing. He takes a lot of younger artists and just up and coming emerging artists under his wing, purchases their art, and just kind of gives them that boost up that they might need. And there's an artist named Jen who literally anytime she makes a sale, she immediately puts it back into the community and purchases other people's work. She has her own little NFT guide for dummies that she has. So the biggest thing I could say is community, Twitter, blasting on Twitter, and Clubhouse, going on stage and just talking about your work. There's a million rooms that you can join that literally, I was in a room last night that says, like, show me your NFT or show me your NFT and talk about it. So you go on stage, you get about 2 minutes to talk about your NFT, why people should check it out, and hope someone buys it. And I've been in rooms where I wasn't even talking about my NFTs. I was actually blasting, like, my friend Gabe Weiss, who again, I call him the modern day Picasso. Everyone check him out. He's been crushing in sales, and I was talking about his artwork for like 3-4 minutes, like during my time, my space. I was like, listen, I'm doing great. I don't want to talk. I just want to hype up my boy Gabe. His artwork's his artwork's amazing. And me talking about his art, even though some of his art, there were eyes on my page, and I made 4 sales in the span of like 3-4 minutes just because people went on my page. So talk people up, get on those stages, and definitely have a drop party with your friends and celebrate your victories. Because even 1 sale, 50 sales, 100 sales, everything deserves to be celebrated. And I'm here. If anyone listens to this, feel free to contact me too. I'll post you on Instagram. I'll post you on Twitter. And we're all in this together, ground level, and we're to the moon, and we're doing this.
I love that. That comes from the old Wall Street Bets Reddit thread. I'm going to share it in a minute. I did create my first NFT. I haven't used it yet, but I have it ready to go, and it is actually related to the moon. So we'll talk about that at the end of the episode, because I don't want to.
I'm excited.
It's not about me. So I love what you said about, this is like we're all in this together, because I think that we've been it's one of those communities that we've been, and I think it's the institutions that do this. I don't think it's the artists. We've been taught that we are competitive, right? We need to be in competition with each other. But I'm a big believer in, the idea that ships rise together. Like when we help each other, we bring each other up. So I think that that's just really exciting to hear that is happening in the community. So that's amazing. One of the other things I wanted to ask you about the technical side of things is when you do go to list you get your collection together, you put all the pieces in there, you pay your gas, it gives you an option. I'm talking about OpenSea now. There's a couple of different ways that you can sell the pieces, right? There's, I believe, auction, set price, and a few others. What has been your experience of what is the most effective?
Yeah, so I've been playing around with myself, and I've kind of found one that I think has been working for me personally. I have been setting buy now on all my artworks, and the reason why is because if you do set your buy now kind of high and you don't have sellers, my apologies, my computer's getting really hot.
Don't hurt yourself.
If you set a buy now price, people can still send you offers. So let's say I have my buy now price at, let's say, $1,200 on a piece, and someone gives an offer for $800. I don't want to talk Ethereum because I don't know exactly what that would be.
I think it's 18, like 1800 or something like that, right? Right now per US dollar, but that could change in a minute.
So true. So what I do is, if I do see an offer I like, I can accept it. One small thing though, if you accept offers that aren't buy now prices, then you have to pay the gas fee. That's the only like little twist in the system. So I was selling my thankful piece for $50. I had someone bid $49.95 just so I would have to pay for the gas fees. Yeah, so I didn't accept it. I should have just been like, hey, thanks for that. But so that's definitely involved. But what I've been doing with selling my work is if I sell an edition of, let's say, 5, I'll price it. Let's say the first one I'll sell for zero 0.1 Ethereum. The next one I'm going to sell for 0.2 Ethereum, 0.3 Ethereum, 0.4 Ethereum. And what that does is it creates a sense of urgency to purchase the piece, because if I don't buy this first piece and I want to buy it 2-3 days later, that might be gone. And then now I might have to buy the 0.3 piece. And so I have it built on top of that. And what that also does is, over time, you don't want your artwork to go down in value. You want to continually increase your artwork in value, as well as like your stature grows with it, kind of exponentially. And so what I've been doing is just kind of gradually raising my prices. And again, we're in this for the long haul. So I see artists putting their work up for like 1 Ethereum, 2 Ethereum, and they're like, I didn't sell out. I'm so mad. I'm still selling works for like, I mean, I just sold one yesterday for like 0.333, but I've sold one for 0.08 Ethereum, just to, one, build my audience and to get my artwork out there as much as you can. Because one, you're building a collectors. 2, they're gonna tell their friends like, I can't believe I just bought this piece. Like, I've had anytime anyone, my head is everywhere. Sorry.
No, you're doing great.
Anytime anyone says, they repost like, I just bought JR's piece, I'm so excited, I repost that on my Instagram, I repost that on my Twitter. And what that does is, one, it shoots them out, shouts them out, which is cool. 2, it also shows your audience your value as well. Like, hey, look at me, my artwork is selling, I'm crushing it, get in this game now while you can, because a few months down the road, this artwork is going to skyrocket. And it kind of proved the point yesterday. Again, really lucky that the artist Blau, who's like a world famous DJ, and Jake Paul both bought my artwork yesterday. And what I did was, I said, hey, Blau bought this piece. It was a 1 of 2 edition. I said, who's going to be the other person to buy that piece? Sold out in like a minute and a half. And I was like, awesome. And then Jake Paul bought one of my works. And I said, Jake Paul bought this piece. There's like 3 left. Who's going to get the other? He bought 2 of them actually. And then those sold out immediately, because people like, they add value to these names. And a fun story about the piece that Jake Paul bought was, I had some kind of social commentary on, it's called Modern Love. And it's when someone, if you ever sent a text out to someone and you kind of got left unread, right? Where you said like, hey, I love you. And you saw them typing the bubbles and then just stop and they leave you unread. So you can do something called unlockables in your pieces, where only the people that purchase the piece will be able to see this unlockable. And what I did for that was, so it was in addition to 5, I gave my real phone number in the unlockable. And I said, if you ever, because the piece says, I love you, and the person doesn't respond back. And I said, if you ever tell someone you love them and they don't respond back, text me and I will text you I love you back, and I'll hold a conversation with you and I'll tell you I love you whenever you need to hear it. So right now, Jake Paul has my phone number, and a fellow artist named Yossi has my phone number, and there's a random person out there, I have no idea who they are, or 2 others, and they have my phone number. So if they ever want to talk to me and say, hey, I'm feeling kind of lonely, I know this is a part of the Unlockable, I will 100% write back, let them know I love them, and carry on a conversation.
That is amazing and so creative. Like, what made you come up with that idea?
Honestly, it came out of nowhere. So I was just looking at the piece, and any single piece that I sell now, I try to think about how can I add more value to this piece, and unlockables is it. One, it creates a sense of mystery, so it makes you think like, what am I going to get when I buy this piece? Because there's an unlockable, it could be something like amazing, it could be something really small. So I always just, I would definitely recommend adding any kind of unlockable you could. So for my Genesis piece, which I did I took Kim Kardashian's body and put, um,
Frida, I
yeah,
love
Frida
that.
Kahlo's face on
Amazing.
top of it. Thank you. What I did was, in the unlockable, I said, anyone that purchases this piece, I'll send you a signed physical copy of the work as well.
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. So I sent out a work, like one went to Denmark, one went to Brazil, two were in the United States, and it just adds that added value to a collector, saying like, hey, check this work out, signed, but I also own the actual NFT as well. So there's always something you can do to create an unlockable with your piece.
That is so fun, and something that we wouldn't know had we not had you on the show. So I really appreciate that. I think some amazing tips for the community to really get started with this. So in fact, let me just check if there's any other questions, because I know I have a few questions from the community. Let's just
Absolutely.
I don't want to miss anything. So this is kind of a technical question from Bob Freya, who's an amazing
I
artist.
love Bob.
Love Bob in Pittsburgh.
He just won the Conception Award,
Did
right?
he won the
Yes.
award? Yep. So
He's
Bob,
amazing.
he's awesome. His work, I feel like, would probably do really well.
I'm actually in talks with him right now. Like literally yesterday, I was messaging him, trying to get him on NFTs. That's crazy.
Awesome. Bob says how to convert crypto to dollars, where to sell, what size should the file be? I'm giving it a try. Now, obviously, convert crypto to dollars. We've kind of covered that. That needs to be through something like Coinbase. But what about like the size of the file? This is a good technical question. Like, what kind of files? Is there a restriction? Is there a size restriction? Is it a certain type of file that we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, so each website has their own size file restrictions, but for the most part, like I don't know the exact like millibytes, whatever it may be, but you can go really, really big. I know someone just not sold, but created the largest NFT. It was like via size file, it was like 18 feet by 24 feet. So it was like absolutely massive. Like if you were to like print it out itself. What I'm doing all my videos as just MP4s. What I would recommend though is just you really, really want it to be as high quality, as high resolution as possible. For like, let's say paintings that are stills, like 300 DPI would be good. If not, if you can go even higher, whatever it may be, but you want it to get as high quality as you can, because some of these collectors, especially the bigger collectors in the world, have these new HD display systems just for their NFT artworks. And some of these display systems literally run up to like $1,200 a piece just to display their artwork. And I would be so upset as a collector if I just spent four ETH on one of your pieces and I go to display to my work and it's glitchy, it's kind of like just muted colors, whatever it may be. So I highly recommend the bigger the file size, the better. And if you have to downsize your file size just a little bit, go for it, but start off as high as you can and then go down from there.
Awesome. A quick question like about branding as well, because I think a lot of artists have spent a lot of time building a personal brand, like both across platforms. So like on Instagram, they're very cohesive with what they're putting out. How has that transition been for you? I know a lot of the work that you were creating before is of a similar vein, but have you found there to be any kind of friction there? Have you found it to be an easy transition?
Yeah, so what I've been doing is so all my work prior to this, I have never done any digital work whatsoever, like,
Okay.
or animation, not digital, animation work, like ever before. And so that all started 2 weeks ago. And so I've been taking all of my previous artworks and then just bringing them to life with animations, with using like Adobe programs, even you can use apps on your phone if you want. The beauty about this space is that no one knows how you're creating your artwork. So you could literally be in bed, excuse me, using 5 different iPhone apps, putting it all together, uploading it to computer, and then putting it on like Adobe Premiere Pro, uploading it as a higher res file, so it's more in depth, and then it looks like you did this magical thing that took you 2 minutes on an iPhone app. Like we just talked about this in another room. Like it's amazing what you can do in this space. And so all I've been doing is taking a lot, because I have hundreds and hundreds of works that I think would look amazing. Like just I have so many ideas that like run through my head, like, oh my God, to animate this, I could do this, I could do this, I can make this pop, I can make that pop. And it's just been awesome just to learn how to like just kind of dive into this new world, because it is a huge learning curve for me. But
it's fun as well, I imagine.
yes, it's like I call it YouTube University, because anything you need to know is on YouTube. And I'm telling you right now, someone has made a tutorial about it. I can literally type anything in. I'm like, tutorial, Adobe tutorial, and someone's like, hey, check this out, I just did this, and I'm sure you want to know how to do that too. So it's like, yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Are there any apps that you want to recommend for folks who might just want to dabble in this on their iPhone?
I will check my phone right now. So let's see. So Motion Leap and Video Leap. So these are paid subscriptions, but you can do a free trial, I do believe. Those have been kind of just the basic ones I've been using, just to like, if I wanted to add, let's say I want to add snow and into one of my works, or add rain to it. There's like a filter you can click on there, and all of a sudden it's raining in your picture and it looks really cool. So those would probably be my two biggest ones that if I want to do like small, quick little tweaks, I use those.
That's awesome. So I'm going to share with you mine, just so we can, because what you just mentioned, actually, it was an app that I used that added this kind of spacey effect.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to share this with you real quick. I don't have the connector to actually put my phone.
Yeah, you can just put it up. Let's check it out.
Okay, so this is
oh, I like that.
This is a Barbara Kruger original piece with the rocket ship to the moon, and then it is a video. So hang on one second.
Yo, let's go. I like that a lot. So I love that.
Okay. Do you think it's worth listing? Give it a try.
So can I make one small recommendation?
Oh.
Can you make that the emoji
move?
Move? Yeah. So I think that
going to the moon.
Yes, that would be so cool.
That's the next step.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah. So you know what? It's I'm kind of like, I have the gazillion things going on, but I'm like, you know what, let me experiment, let me play with this, because I don't tend to like to recommend products, services, new industries, unless I have a little bit of personal experience with them, which is why we bring in experts like you to give some feedback. So this is awesome. It's very exciting. It's a really exciting time. I'm so happy for you, that you're having this moment, and I'm sure it's going to continue. So tell us, what are your plans? What's the next steps?
So I have a big project in the works right now, which again, it's almost like what happened with this. Like, it's so big that it's almost daunting, but I have this, I think, kind of an ingenious idea that I don't want to give away because I don't want anyone to take it yet. But besides that, I've been collaborating with so many different artists, and I have a collaboration. I just released one with Dario, who's awesome. I have a collaboration with Gabe Weiss, who I mentioned before. I have a collaboration with Eddie. I don't want to get his name wrong on screen with everyone. So many messages.
We can edit, don't worry.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, how far down is he?
I'm just checking if there's any other questions while you do that.
Awesome. I literally don't see him anymore. Oh, Bob's in my messages too right now.
Oh, that's so fun.
Awesome.
I wonder, he probably doesn't know it's you that I'm chatting with, even though I put a post out. I'm going to obviously tag you when it's done. I didn't want to do that without your permission.
Oh, thank you. I can't find him right now, but yeah, I have a lot of collaborations in the works right now, and again, it's the best way to just build that community. And yeah, the best way I explain what's happening to me in the past like 2 weeks has been, if you've ever seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, and at the end when he finally got that job, that like I got the chills right now. When he finally got that job where he can take care of his son, like that's what it literally felt like to me. Like um 32 years of just hard work, grinding, like the whole starving artist persona. I can give you so many stories where I'm like literally on my last dime, and it's like, how am I gonna eat? How is this gonna happen? And then to have this happen, I truly believe like good things happen to good people, and I just want to pay that forward like 10 times, because any single time I give just a little bit out, the universe kind of gives it 10 times back. And I am a huge, huge, huge believer in manifesting. Big on like 333, all the numbers, and you want to you want to create your reality, manifest your reality, and it all starts with. And I'm sorry if I'm going a little off topic here, but it all starts with just like how you talk about your work. So when I say, you know, I hope I sell this artwork. It's no, I'm gonna sell this artwork. It's when, or um, it's just little nuances like that that make the I don't say little, the biggest world of difference in your mentality and mindset. And some people like, oh, just that's fake, that's magic, whatever. I don't believe in that stuff. But like 2 days ago, I just released one of my pieces, and I was like, you know what? I want this to be sold by the end of the day, and it was one of my $700 ones, and literally, and I kid you not, 3 hours later, sold, and I'm like, awesome, Blau, amazing, amazing guy. This is insane, by the way. So I was bidding, literally like, so his work sells for, he sold one of his works for like $7 million.
What?
His Yeah, insane. And so he has a whole series of some of his music that he released, and I was literally bidding. I bid on like 50 of them, and I bid 50 cents just to get my name out there, just to be like, hey, I love your work. I can't afford this, but I'm bidding 50 cents on it. In that room the other night with Blau, he bought one of my artworks, and then he gifted me the one I bid on. Didn't
What?
even ask him to. He gifted it to me. And I was like, this is like, again, universe conspiring, coming full circle. I said I wanted it. And he literally, out of the kindness of his own heart, gifted me one of his works, which is just like, again, huge component manifesting. My one last thing on that, I would say, is every morning, when you wake up, write down what you think your perfect day, you would want your perfect day to look like. From the moment you wake up till you go to bed, write down exactly what would that perfect day look like. And it's been a complete game changer for me. And you want to get specific with numbers, with food, with whatever it may be. I'm like, I want to sell 3 pieces by the end of today by 8 p.m. I want to make sure I eat all my healthy meals. I want to make sure I brush my teeth 3 times today. I want to, and get specific as you can, and it will make the world of difference. And make your bed in the morning. Every morning, make your bed, because once you do something small, it compiles and gets. You end up doing a lot more. So make your bed.
Amazing. And I want to ask you on that note, what does the perfect year look like for you? If we could have this conversation, meet in a year's time on March 18th, 2022, what have you accomplished and how are you feeling?
The perfect year for me. So I've already envisioned it. I wrote my vision statement for the year. Um, is to have 2 groups of people with me. I have my close group of friends. I have about 4 buddies that all live. One lives in Florida, one lives in Texas, one lives in Connecticut, one lives in Maine, and I want us all together. I already said I'm going to do it in an Airbnb, just celebrating somewhere in the mountains, wherever we may end up, and just be surrounded by the ones I love, and just be able to uh, take care of them and do that. But the second community that I want, or the second thing I want, is my NFT family. So I've made a group of like maybe 15 really close friends already, and it will be all of us together up top with the rest of the community that I've been talking to, and the rest of the people that I've been in contact with every single day, and just all of us as a whole elevating together. And there's just nothing more beautiful, because the people I surround myself with are just positive, beautiful individuals. Like I'd get yelled at if I didn't shout out my friend Luis. He is, again, another story. I applied to Parsons Graduate School 2 years in a row, didn't get in. You live, you learn. Everything happens for a reason. Luis is an app. He's just a genius. Was a teacher at Parsons. He was a college professor at Parsons. And I was talking to him. He's like, if I knew that you were trying to apply, I would have let you in somehow. And I'm like, I appreciate you, Luis, and he's just a amazing human. And there's just so many great people, and I just want to take all of us together. And I tweet it almost every day, and anytime someone messages me questions, I always end it with, listen, we're all in this together. Like, I will take everyone to the top with me that I can hold, that I can take, and I hope they would do the same for me. And just to go back really quickly, when you said you called me an expert in this space, no one is an expert in this space. We were all in this together, ground level, and we are all learning at the same pace, same time. And if anyone tells you they're an expert, they're lying, because every day something else is happening. But the perfect year for me would be at the end of this year, just to be sitting amongst an amazing group of people, chatting at dinner about how we used to have clubhouse talks, and now we're in person because COVID magically disappears.
Amen.
And yeah, and we are just together sitting at a dinner table, celebrating one another's success.
Well, I hope you'll come back and have that conversation with me, because I have no doubt that you're going to accomplish it. You are right on the beam. You're somebody who believes in what you put out there will come back to you, and I already see it happening for you. So thank you so much for joining me and for having such a an honest conversation and being so open with what you've learned, because I really think it's going to help a lot of people who are really just kind of scratching their heads with this right now. So huge thank you, JR, and please do let people know how they can follow you, where they can learn more about you.
Of course, yeah. So if anyone has any questions, literally at all, I promise you, again, I spend an hour every morning, an hour every night. I dedicate it to responding to literally everyone. You can find me on Instagram at jr.artspace. And you can find me on Twitter at jrartspace_NFT. I have my logo right now is like a yellow background with like a digital David sculpture kind of head. You can't miss me. But again, I am definitely down to help anyone out with any questions. And we're all in this together. So let's make it to the top together.
To the moon.
To the moon. Absolutely. I'm excited for your drop too. Let me know. We'll have a drop party.
I will. I'm still a little afraid of the whole process, but I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to get up 2 hours early tomorrow, and I'm going to put the time in, and I'm going to make it happen.
Absolutely. And it's going to sell.
Yes, it is going to sell.
It is going to
sell. I like your attitude. All right, folks. Well, this has been the Smart Art Business Podcast. Super grateful to JR for joining us. Super thankful for everybody who's tuned into this episode. Let us know what you thought of this. Do subscribe, leave a review if you feel inclined, and spread the word. This is an exciting time. Go check out JR's work. Like he said, he's an amazing resource. He's on hand to answer any questions. So, make that leap. Let's do this, folks.